Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a great day so far. So today we're going to be trying out a new concealer, and this is the Shiseido Synchro Skin Self-Refreshing Concealer. If you've been here before or you've been here recently, you'll know that I tried out the foundation, the same Synchro Skin Self-Refreshing Foundation from Shiseido, and it has become my whole love life and one of my favorite foundations of all time. It's everything I love about foundation. It's very natural, youthful, smoothing, kind to lines and wrinkles and texture. It's long wearing, it takes years off me. I love everything about that foundation. Of course I was going to try out the matching concealer. Now the one thing you'll notice about this concealer is it's like an itty bitty little baby. It's small is what I'm trying to say to you. You get 5.8 mils in here. If you compare it to the Tarte Shape Tape, this has 10 mils. The Born This Way has 15 mils. I mean, it's like it had a baby. Huda Beauty is 10. The Armani Power Fabric and the Estee Lauder, which is my current favorite concealer, are both 6. And then you have the Charlotte Tilbury, which is a horrifying 4. So this is the only one I own that's actually less than the Shiseido, even though it's taller. There is, I mean, next to nothing in here. 4 mils. Pardon? So I'm disappointed in the size. It is quite a pricey concealer, £29 in the UK, 31 US dollars. So that seems a lot for quite a small amount of product. I wish they'd gone for like an 8 mil or above. Like, to me, that's a decent concealer. That's bang for your buck. 5.8, couldn't even make it 6. Couldn't have just, you know, dribbled a couple more drops in there to make it up to 6. So that's something to note. It comes in 16 shades. All the information about the concealer will be on the screen for you. I picked up 203, which is supposed to be light medium with neutral undertones, and I do agree that that's what it is. Something to bear in mind when choosing a colour with both the foundation and the concealer in this range is that, in my opinion, the swatches online when you're purchasing, look a lot darker than the reality of the shades of this concealer. So bear that in mind when you're choosing your shade. Go off of the descriptions, look for other reviews around your skin tone rather than just looking at the swatches, because I find them personally quite unhelpful. They look a lot darker than the reality. So it says a lot of good things. It says a lot of my buzzwords, you know, smoothing, long wearing, natural finish, medium to full coverage. Most people with like more mature, over 30 and above under eye situations want to shy away from mega heavy, full coverage, matte, any of those words, especially in the under eye area. Because all of those things just immediately, all I hear is it's adding 10 years to you, it's adding 10 years to you, don't go near it, be afraid, be very afraid. But at the same time, I personally have a fairly prominent under eye situation. I have fairly evident darkness under my eyes. I mean, I have young children, I'm tired. I have under eye circles. I don't really have bags, but I definitely have fine lines under my eyes, definitely has some crow's feet, definitely have a lot of darkness under there. So if I use a light coverage concealer, it's still going to show through. So I have to make a toss up whether I'm prioritizing covering darkness or keeping a light under eye, because you can't achieve both. You've got to choose. Either it's going to be, you know, full coverage and cover your darkness, or it's going to be lighter coverage and be easier on lines and wrinkles. So for me, hopefully, this is what I look for in a concealer, where it's a more medium to full, it still sounds lightweight, it's got more of a natural finish, it's not as heavy as a matte finish, it sounds like it's going to be really ideal. So I'm inserting footage of me applying this concealer. The first thing to note is this wand. It's a very interesting and very unique shape. I haven't seen anything like it. It's like a little ball on the end, and it feels very soft applying it to the skin. So I personally found this really easy to apply using this dofer. It didn't feel like I needed to keep dipping back in there. Especially the way that I'm applying my concealer is how I pretty much always conceal. If you are someone who likes to do a giant big triangle under your eye, this is going to be trickier to do that because it's not flat. It doesn't have any flat part. So you're going to have to like paint it on, stripe it on, and you can't sort of sweep because it does have that dip in the middle and that ball. So for that reason, it might not be your your favourite type of doe foot. For me, it's really useful getting right up into the corners. I found it applied the amount of concealer that I wanted, and it was super easy to apply a nice thin line down my nose to highlight that area. I really like the shade of this concealer. It was just light enough for me to brighten a little bit but still look really natural. It blended in extremely quickly and easily with no effort whatsoever, and I felt like this gave me a solid medium coverage. I could have built this up, but I didn't feel like I needed to. I felt like it covered enough that I was happy that once everything was finished it was going to be good. I used a pretty small amount, and you'll see a little goes a really long way. I didn't have any issues with it setting. As you can see, I placed all of the concealer before I started blending, and there was nothing that had already set down by the time I got to it, so you can definitely apply it that way. You don't need to work, you know, section by section. It's not one of those that sets so quickly you're gonna have to do one eye at a time or anything like that. It blended out beautifully and seamlessly. It did not cake up, it didn't have any patchiness or anything like that, and it really a little went a very long way. Now I'm setting one side with my usual Jeffree Star setting powder, and on the other side I'm just leaving it unset so we can see how it looks either set or unset, because lots of people, particularly those with a more mature under eye area, are going to not want to set because obviously powder in that area is very aging. For me, this concealer looked beautiful both ways, both set and unset. It didn't seem to crease, barely at all, even on the unset side. It was looking really, really good, both set and unset. The only difference is that I do feel like the set side looks a little drier and more aged, which is obviously what you would expect with setting powder. So really up to you and your preference whether you want to set it or not, but I definitely think you can get away with not setting it, and it's going to be one of the better ones as far as creasing in lines and wrinkles. Only really when I added the powder on top did it really age my under eye area. I think the concealer on its own was very, very good and true to its claims as far as lines and wrinkles. So it's been a couple of hours since I applied this concealer. Now I'm going to show you a zoomed in version of the set and the unset side to see if anything has changed, if anything has moved, if creasing has happened or got worse, because in the first couple of hours that's when you see all of that stuff start to kick in. So this is the set side and this is the unset side. I definitely feel like my lines, as you can see, they look more pronounced on this side because of the extra product in there, because of the drying powder that has gone on this side, whereas this side my lines and wrinkles don't look as bad, but if I stretch my face you can hopefully see that there's a little bit more creasing on this set side, which is exactly what you would totally expect to happen. But I will say it is not bad at all for an unset concealer. That is what it's looking like, and I'm really impressed. So there you have it. Those are my thoughts on this concealer. I think it's an amazing one. I'm loving it so far. I'm definitely going to be comparing it over the next couple of weeks with my Estee Lauder, which is my current favourite so far, and seeing which I ultimately think is the best. And I'm going to be doing a concealer roundup for you guys very, very soon. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful. I will see you in the next one. Otherwise, take care for now. Bye, 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 bye.